Welcome back, Tankers of Blitz Universe, to our Tier 9 Mediums Review Marathon. We have arrived at the M46 Patton, the Tier 9 American Medium. One of the two of them, T54E1, is already on the channel. And this is the M46 Patton, or maybe more so the M47, because the 46 is basically the tank with the first turret, and when you've mounted top turret, it becomes an M47 Patton. Bit of nitpicking. But I am a fan of American tanks, World War II mostly, very fond of the Sherman, the M4 series, which in Blitz isn't an M4, it is an M4A1, but I digress. Back to the subject at hand, M46 Patton in World of Tanks Blitz. We are driving on a Supremacy map, New Dead Rail, one of the first matches I played on the contributor account on this map. You can see I'm slowly driving around trying to find spots where I can use the gun depression, work the ridgeline. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a Ridge Warrior. It's not a tank that has the armor of the T54. It hasn't got the triple shotgun of the T54E1. It hasn't got that insane mobility of the Leopard PTA. It's not the ramming power of an E50, but it does a lot of good things. A lot of stuff is good on the tank, but it doesn't really excel at anything except for this ridge fighting. You can see we only damage the tracks on the 260 here, that's a bit unfortunate, but you have a front mounted turret, you have a good gun depression on the tank, and as long as you can go hold down that M47 turret, the top turret, it's a bouncy turret to a degree. It's small, it has a sleek profile. You can see we are trying to shoot a Topic 268, but even APCR doesn't cut through, and we will see later why that is. Pen numbers are a bit underwhelming, firing only AP at first, but you can get through the size of E100s on, if they are at 90-degree angles. And like I said, the biggest asset on the tank is the fact that you can go on a ridge, just sit up there, aim down and use that awesome gun depression that is pretty much on all the American tanks, the British tanks, the Centurion 7-1, the Type 61, M48 Patton, they have it all. This is a versatile tank, use it to drive around, don't use it to brawl too much, even though you have one good thing we will take a look at in stats and numbers in a few seconds. But it's also quite soft, not much in terms of armor on the side. Ninja kill, thank you. We finished another M46 Patton. Sorry about that cannibalism really. And you can see here we are just floating around, darting around, trying to be useful onto the Jagdpanzer. No, he gets finished by our E100. And we're leaving the other E100, we're shooting the E50, because that is a tank on low health and he's a one-shot. Didn't really need AP. But again, you can see I'm trying to go hold down, use the gun depression, use the front mounted turret and use the mobility, because it's like the T54E1, typically American. It's got good mobility, not as fast like I mentioned before as the PTA, but it is pretty good nonetheless. T54 gets taken out, we don't get any more kills in the last bit of the match. But that said, pretty solid game for a Tier 9, not too much armored medium. First class medal and 25 penetrating hits up until this game. Top damage, just top damage, but top experience, 15 shots fired, 14 hits, 13 penetration, that's decent accuracy. 6 of the tanks hit, 3 of them destroyed, 1 of the enemies didn't get a shot in from us. So let's go, stats and numbers. Again, I'm using tank compare by Blitz stars, as you can see. And the first thing to note is that the Patton has the highest DPM of the game, as you can see here. It fires AP, APCR and HE for ammunition. Penetration, few of the tanks do it a bit better, especially the PTA. He is far up front on the standard shell, but the penetration values are the same as with the T54. Here we have the aim time and dispersion. Rate of fire T54 has it better. Patton, good rate of fire. A lot of the tanks are lower in that regard. and some other stats here. The caliber of the gun, the 105 you will want to mount. And you can see on the weapon handling, a lot of the tanks do it a lot better, the E50, the PTA. But the Patton is a very stable gun platform. The dispersion is quite high, but if you drive around and use especially vertical stabilizers, there is not a lot more in terms of dispersion that gets added to it, which is a good thing, and yeah, you can use it to your own advantage. Taking a look at the armor department, the Patton is pretty much in the middle, except for the turret armor. Of course, the Cent and the T54 do it a lot better. But the PTA, the 5041, the Type 61, they are worse. So it's again in the middle. A lot of it is in the middle, really. You can see average damage about on par with most of the tanks in TN and TN99 mediums. So let's sum it up. What are the good things about the M46 Patton? It has the highest DPM in the game in terms of TN9 mediums. You can use the view range to your advantage as well, which is only exceeded by the Type 61, as you can see, and the stable gun platform that it is makes this a very versatile jack of all trades, typically American Tier 9 medium. Alright, onwards and upwards into some more tanking stuff. Since I've been describing this one as a Ridge fighter, I decided it would be nice to show a few snapshot thingies, little bits of battles where I'm using ridges to my advantage. You can see I'm trying to use the view range here, slowly peeking out and peeking out and peeking out just a bit more until we get the first target, the IS-4. Again, pen numbers are lacking, and even with APCR it's very hard to get through the front of the tank. APCR adds a bit to the penetration values, gives you 265 millimeters of average penetration numbers, but it's less than the standard rounds of AP on the Leopard PTA, and it's far less than the heat fired by the T54, the Type 61 and the PTA. TNR mediums are selected now for a possible nerf. As far as I know, if I'm not mistaken, the Patton is not part of it, and well, if this one would get nerfed on pen numbers or on standard rounds or even premium rounds, it would lose a lot of its potential. You can see APCR red against TN9 mediums, which is a good thing in my opinion, because up front a TN9 medium should struggle slightly to penetrate or scratch a Tier 10 medium. Ninja kill on the Grill 15. And here's some more Ridgeline fighting. On top of Castilla, as you can see, I'm bumping over the car and then some more cars, so I have to extend a bit further than I would really like to. But when I would be here in a PTA or the Type 50, the T54 or the E50, I would have to go down a lot more to get the shot done. Type 61, Sand, Patton, they all can do this. I don't want to get involved into a dogfight with two T54s and a PTA and a Jagdtiger, so we back up, get a bounce on the front of the turret. That's what you have to do as well, face front always. You haven't got a lot of armor on your tank, but the upper plate is slightly angled on your hull. The turret has a slightly bouncy gun method, and as long as you can keep this frontal attitude, face front, you can fire away. You can see switching from APCR back to AP, trying to get a shot in on a T54. It is possible if you aim for a bit, but you have to be careful with it and work the area, work the ridges slowly. One more shot into the Jagdtiger. No, he's showing always, facing always, so we are driving back into two full games, Tier 10 games again, as the one on Dead Rail. We are now up on Mirage. And when you go on Mirage, when you've done the map guide, you go into your OP spotting campy bush on the cap circle. Red team also decided it was a good idea to go here. Yeah, there they are. And you can see 62 and Leopard moving in quick. We are rolling down. Which one went first? 62? No, he's too quick. Leopard, turn on the spot, one shot. There we go. He gets shot again. Load adrenaline. This is a good moment to load adrenaline. Boom, bam, bam, bam. Remedy, bam, bam, bam. Ram into the Leopard. Turn around. Ram him. Shoot him again. Yes. We are attacking him, and our, what is it, 140 finishes off. One more shot into the 62A. Suicide rush by 2 tier 10 mediums. But we are up front by 1 tank already. Team is bundling up, trying to use the ridges again. I can't repeat it enough. It's a theme of this review. Use the ridges, use mobility, bugger off if you are outnumbered, outgunned. And in terms of damage, you are pretty much outgunned by a lot of the tanks. Because you have to work hard to get your damage in. Yes, you have to DPM. No, you haven't got the penetration values. This is a slightly lucky shot, but this is what I mean about the added dispersion if you're on the move. It's not very high, so you can make shots like this. And again, in terms of penetration values, you need a lot of APCR on tier 10 mediums. You can see it here. Engine deck, can't shoot him, he dunked one into the ground. Switching to APCR, trying to hopefully get a shot in on a turret. Not available, but this one goes into the engine deck, giving us a nice fire as well. And we're again being sneaky, trying to poke out not too much. There he is, 62 Ninja. Thank you. And onwards and upwards, where is another tank? There's a Sand 7-1, using it again. Frontal mounted turret, shoot the sand. There we go, using the rock, turning on the spot. There is an M103, open turret side. AP will do, no problem whatsoever. And into the IS-7, back to APCR. Can we shoot him? No, we can't. Using again buildings for cover. And all the way onto the back, you can see the PTA a lot quicker. And here we are shooting the IS-7, and I probably would have been able to get one more shot in on him. But I would like to save my platoon mate as well, platoon mate teammate as well in the PTA. So we dive into him, back to AP. Maybe would have shot HE if I had a clear shot on the engine deck of the M103. That is a very weak spot also on the Patton. If you ever encounter a Patton who is facing you to the back, wait a bit until he's at a normal angle at 90 degrees and whack HE into that engine deck. And your fires 9 out of 10. 13 shots fired. Decent accuracy again. Quite a lot of the tanks spotted. But hefty bill in terms of ammo. Last game up, Castilla. Again Castilla, again tier 10 game. So what do you do on Castilla if you are a rich fighter? You go towards the Castilla itself to use the gun oppression, to use the hills, to use the ridges, etc. But then you see all the team is buggering off towards Cap C. So we are not going up, we're not going into A, because the M48 Patton, the tier 10, which successes the M46, is also driving into this area. In terms of the tank, what will it teach you? This will teach you to read a game, in my opinion. This will teach you to use the gun oppression, work the places where you can really use it to your advantage. It will teach you to be a good gunner. At times it's not always needed to swap to APCR. Here we can shoot through the front plate of a T-54 because he is up close and personal. But this is a tank that is, in my opinion, as good as the PTA, as versatile as the T-54. Not in terms of armor, but it does a lot of good things. It's not, like I said, not as fast as the PTA, which is a good thing, because it speed can kill. It can get you in and out of trouble quick, both ways. And that's what the PTA has to one of the big advantages. It of course pays the price in terms of armor, because I mean, look at this, everything on the PTA from the left, it's just plain open. It is easy to pen, maybe even with HE. And he is facing up back. Yes, there we go, quick HE into the back. And 406, bit underwhelming for average 400. We only get 406. But if you see a PTA at the back, use an HE shell to maximize your damage. Like I said, the Patton, versatile tank. It will teach you a lot about the game, about relocating, about using gun depression. And in my opinion, these two tanks, the T-54 and the M46 Patton, are the most new player-friendly tanks in the game at the moment. The Sand, very good tank. You have to use hash to get its full potential. Leopard PTA, not one for the players that need to learn the game on account of its very thin armor. It is a specialized tank. Type 61, same E50 is a very good tank as well, as you've seen from the review. But the Patton, it's a jack of all trades, Mr. Versatile, Mr. Ridgeline hill fighter. And I'd advise this tank to anybody who wants to try something different. If you're bored of Russian mediums, or if you want to try a first line. This was actually my first tier 9 medium. I started up on the American lines, the heavy line and the mediums line, original heavy line E5, and it taught me a lot about the game, really. Supremacy match on Castilla. Can we shoot a 263? No, we can't, but we are very much progressing. That's gotta hurt, only track damage, that's a bit unfortunate, but reloading, adrenaline popping it a bit too early. Another count of a team. No, I just played very well, it wasn't really our team. One shot into you. We have to repair quick, and here we go, onwards and upwards around him. Shot into him, he had track damage, bumps into us, and he gets tracked in place. Can we shoot him one more time? We can, yep. And around the building, rock around the block. Going to shoot him again, not kill him, unfortunately. The M48 Patton gets the kill, but it's 3 kills again. You can see not a lot in terms of epic medals, red leads, pools, Resenias, whatever, but we do get a high caliber medal on Castilla, and this is the 8th game which I try to incorporate in most of the reviews if I drive one. Mastery, high caliber, 4.5k damage, which is pretty impressive in my book for any tank in tier 9. 18 shots, 15 penetrations. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the series tier 9 mediums. Up next, Type 61. I catch you all on the next one. Cheers and happy tanking.